Okay, hello. Well, we are going to try this out and see if it works. It may or may not, but I'm going to cook a meal with some of the average stuff that you'd get in a food bag, because I figured what's worse than being given a food bag? Not knowing what to do with it. So I thought, okay, I'll cook my family a dinner this evening based on what you can get in there and show you how to jazz it up a little bit, because sometimes the flavours aren't all that good. So tonight I am going to do some spaghetti and meatballs. I have no idea if this can work, because you know, Jamie Oliver and so on, they always can pause it and edit it, and if they have bloopers and whatever else, they don't include those. Here we are, live in my kitchen. I don't think it shall take too long, which is fantastic. So I'm going for our tinned meatballs. So I'm actually going to use, for 8 of us, we could be 9 because my niece might be joining us for dinner tonight. We look after her sometimes. I'm going to use 4 tins, and you might think, crikey, that's a lot. But you know, this has been a really good experiment for us because it's helping us to realise how much food we need to give people for the size family that they are. 4 tins is what I estimated we would need to use as a family. So to start off with, I thought a sauce like that, you're never really going to get much flavour in it. It's going to be plain tomato and not much more than that, because people need to add their own things. So what I figured I would do, I've got my colander, I've got my bowl, is I'm literally just going to chuck these out into here, get it, can't get it out, get it all into there, get the sauce drained out, because I want to get some meat flavour in mine, and the only way you can do that is by cooking the meat separately. So what I'm doing, these are really good, you know, because often we find with the food bank, if they're not pull can, sometimes people don't have tin openers. And then what do? And they've said to us, I don't have a tin opener. So if you're ever wondering what you can donate to a food bank, tin openers are really handy, so we can give them away to people who don't have one. So there's 1 jar, there's 2, just letting it all sink into there, get rid of the sauce for a moment, because I want to fry my meat. And you might be thinking, oh my gosh, you're promoting frying stuff. Well, I know it's not that healthy, but you know what? I'm going to use very, very little oil, because I kind of want to get the stick to the bottom of the saucepan. So let's have a look and see. So far, so good. I've got my meatballs in there, I've got my sauce in the bowl underneath. I've got one more thing to do. You might be thinking, why are you only doing 3 cans when you told me you'd use 4? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because I've already experimented this afternoon with 1 can just to see what am I going to do and how's it going to work. Because I didn't want to be experimenting on live TV, and I think you'll agree with me, that's fair enough. So, there you go. This is probably one of the quickest and easiest meals you'll ever do. That's my meatball sauce in 1 bowl. This is my meatballs on here. Some of you might be looking and thinking, what on earth is this contraption she's cooking on? You're fine to cook. This is a bit like an induction hob, but you can cook on a gas top or anything else. This is just my old-fashioned cooker. So, meat in 1 thing, sauce being filtered out there. Get myself a little bit of olive oil, just a drizzle in the bottom of the pan. Let it heat up a little bit and swirl around. As soon as that's ready, we're going to chuck the meat on there. Now let me tell you what else I've got. Depending on whether you like mushrooms or not, I've got some mushrooms here to add in. I've got some chopped tomato here to add in, and then I've got some garden peas to go on the side, because it's nice to have a bit of veg. And my spaghetti. So nice and easy, right? That looks like it might be heated up a little bit. So, you can hear that sizzling. That's my meat on there. Scrape the last bits of sauce into here. There you go. Nice and done, dripping everywhere. Okay, so this I'm literally just going to pop to one side. We'll grab it back out in a moment. And my meat, I'm going to get sizzling away in there as much as possible. Now, I like salt in my cooking. Some people don't like salt in their cooking. So I always add a little bit of salt, a lot of pepper, because I like a lot of pepper. If you like my lady, we call her Gladys. A lot of pepper on this one. If I weren't cooking for my kids, I'd add some chili flakes, but not all my kids like chili flakes. So add some chili flakes in there if you like that kind of thing. And then the other thing that I think every kitchen should have is garlic granules. Love garlic granules. So I never use the small side. I always use the big side. Then you want to do a good healthy sprinkling of some garlic granules in your cooking as well. And then you might want to use instead garlic paste, which is fresher, stronger, really tasty. You can get this in Aldi, that kind of place. So that's my meatballs cooking up really nicely there. Then the next thing that I want to add to my meatballs, you see the point of frying it is I'm getting the meat flavour and that slightly burnt flavour into my food. Next, I'm going to add something that you're initially going to think, well, where are we going to get that, Christina? I'm going to add some coriander and some basil. Now, you might be thinking, where are we going to get fresh coriander and fresh basil from? I thought this was a food bag demonstration. Well, all the stuff that we put out in the front regularly has fresh herbs in it. And whenever I see them, if I'm running low, I grab one of the bags and I just put it in the freezer, which means I've always got frozen, fresh herbs ready to use. So what do? Go to it, because they're frozen, they break easily. I'd literally crunch the bag so it's all crumbled down into sprinkleable pieces. Have it frozen, ready to go. So I am just going to go to my freezer. Now I have cleverly put inside a little bowl my basil and my coriander, so I'm not trying to fizzle with bags. Wait there. Okay. I like a lot of herbs in mine, so I've got quite a big lot of herbs here, all frozen, all ready to go in. Here we are, give it a bit of a scrape. Oh, it's literally frozen to the bowl, I wasn't expecting that. Chuck it in there. It's starting to smell amazing. I love the smell of fresh herbs in cooking. So, I think what I might do, is keep that to one side and get the hot water on it in a moment, and then that will defrost. Oh, that's going to be good. And you're starting to get, I don't know if you can see very easily in my pan, that when it sticks to the bottom and you get that slightly burnt stuff conglomerated to the bottom of the pan, I'm starting to get that. That's what I'm after, because when I whack the sauce in there, then that's where the flavour's going to be. So here we go, mixing that all around. Now I've had to move my kettle because I thought next to the camera would be too noisy. So I'm popping my kettle on over there, because honestly this is such a quick and easy meal. I've been going 11 minutes so far and I'm almost there. So I'm going to whack this onto the cooler side now of my cooker, and you'll see why in a minute. I need the hot side for my pasta. If you were on a normal gas thing, you'd turn it down by now. And I'm just adding the tomato sauce from here. And then what I did with my experiment earlier was add a tin of chopped tomatoes. Now, because I've already added one, what I'm just going to do is tip this pan into here rather than waste any chopped tomatoes, and add my tin of chopped tomatoes in with this one. So here we go. That is starting to look a little bit like a bolognese. Look at that gorgeous colour. And I want to let you into a top secret. So if you're cooking and you've got your herbs in here, you've got your tomatoes, you've got your garlic, you've got your salt and pepper, basil, coriander, and so on. If you add a passata, so sometimes you like to cook with a passata instead of tomato, and it's just a little bit sharp, sometimes a bit vinegary. Do you know the best thing to add into it? One sweetener. One sweetener for the whole meal just adds that hint of sweetness that brings down the sharpness. Tastes, honestly, amazing. So that can start to bubble away nicely on there, and hopefully it will start to taste nice. I'm going to try it in a moment. This is the point where if you like mushrooms, you can open a tin of mushrooms, sieve them out, add them in. I'm not going to do that because I'm just going to save myself time while we're on here. So as you can see, all I've done so far is some meatballs. I've added some salt, some pepper, some garlic granules, and then I've added some basil and coriander, which I just got free from the FoodBank thing. Look out for them. They come in handy. Everything I cook is going to have something like that in it. So grab some tomorrow when the food bag goes out there, food stuff goes out there, and make sure you pop it in your freezer ready to use. And then I've just re-added the sauce in, mixed it in a little bit, and I think it's time to have a taste. Let's have a look and see. And this is the bit where you've just got to use your intuition. Do you know what? That actually tastes delicious. I've got Tina here with me. Do you want to try some, Tina? Tina's like, don't include me. I don't want to be on camera again.
Oh.
Try this. Is it good? I think it does need a pinch of that sweetener though, doesn't it? It's a bit sharp.
Just a tiny bit,
so slightly sharp. So this is where you just get to adjust it to your own flavours. So, excuse me coming really close. Literally, just sweetness. Here's one, chuck it in. Don't need more than that. And that will taste fabulous in a minute. Oh, and I tell you something else that will give that just the touch I would love it to have. I use probably just a normal cereal spoon and some gravy granules, which again you can get from the food bag. I don't think I've used anything yet that wasn't in the food, you wouldn't get in the food bag, have I? Even down to the spaghetti. So I'm using one flat spoon of this, and let's see how that tastes. We might need some more in a moment. Whack it in there, and the gravy granules will give it that nice meaty flavour as you're cooking away. So this is your Italian meatballs. The meatballs, I tried one earlier, they taste a little bit like the, you know the IKEA Swedish meatballs? They're that kind of a consistency, thank you, I was going to say constituency. That's the wrong thing to be saying. Right, let me get my pasta thing on. Now, you might be thinking, why is she showing us how to cook pasta? The reason I'm showing you how to cook pasta is because in my opinion, most people don't know how to cook pasta right. Okay, so, I was raised with Italian friends and I learned very quickly that anything else, no good. So you want to bring some water to the boil. And you want a lot more water than you imagine. So although that's one full kettle, I'm actually going to fill it up and go again. There you go. Slightly bizarre for you to have a blank screen of cooking while you're going, but I'm trying to get this done as fast as possible because I want you to see how we can make a meal. I've been going 15 minutes just, so basically it takes as long as the spaghetti now. Isn't that cool? Really cool. I'm just going to get some of that last bits, look at that, of the herbs that were frozen to my bowl and whack them in here. That little bit of water won't hurt at all. Get it mixed in. I wish you could get a sense of smell across the camera. Doesn't work, but it does smell good. And in these moments, while you're waiting, these are your moments as a believing parent to get praying for your kids. And I know in real life you're also laying the table and emptying the dishwasher or clearing up the sides or whatever else. But in these moments, my kids right now are occupied. Oh, I'm forgetting to tell you what I put. Olive oil, a good drizzle on the top. It helps this pasta to celebrate. And then a good amount of salt. And you'll be looking at it thinking, oh, but you drain it all away anyway, so you're fine. And Tina's like, no, don't tell them that. Tina can show her own cooking skills another time. These ones are mine. So your salt makes it boil at a hotter temperature. It also gives the pasta will absorb a little bit of it in. The oil stops it separating, which is the key to pasta. The other key to pasta is time it. Do not underestimate timing your pasta. If it says 7 to 8 minutes, go 7. If it says 9 to 10, go 9. Go for the lower one because pasta's at its best when it's slightly al dente. So, it's boiling. I could go for it, except for I want to wait for my other kettle. So let me tell you, it's these moments where there's a pause, where there's a lull, that you can then start to commit your family to the Lord. Lord Jesus, would you bless my kids? Would you help them in their education? Would you help them? I always think of the different skills. Help them with their social skills. Help them with their emotional maturity. Help them with their spiritual maturity. Help them with their understanding. Help them to have favour everywhere they go. And most importantly, Jesus, would you let them know your love and love you back with all of their hearts. Let them learn to do that now so they never walk away from you in their teenage years. Keep them, hold them, guard them. You know, these are the prayers of a parent, aren't they? And there is nothing more powerful, I can tell you this, than the prayers of a parent praying and praying and praying. I mean, who loves our kids more than we do, right? We adore our kids. We're the ones on our knees before Jesus. We're the ones going for it. We're the ones praying. So here we are. My next kettle. And it's the praying parents, the ones that keep going in all spare times. Jesus, guard their hearts, protect them from the things that could cause them trauma, give them peace, give them strength. It's those parents praying for their kids who have such a passion to see them grow in the Lord. There's no way those kids won't. Through prayer, sometimes prayer alone, those kids will know what it is to love the Lord their God and walk with Him all the days of their life. So here we go. Pasta in. Let it separate as you put it in so that it can all be coated just a little bit with that oil. And then you want a fork and try and get it all under the water as quickly as you can. Sometimes your pan isn't big enough. If your pan is smaller, break it in half because you want to get it in the water as quickly as possible. And then the idea is use your fork to keep separating all the bits of pasta. Just every now and then give it another mix because you do not want clumps. Who likes clumpy pasta? Nobody. I don't think anyone likes clumpy pasta. So, we said time it. 11 minutes. So I'm going to go for a happy 10. You don't have to see all the 10 on here. But, okay, that's my 10. So I'm going to show you one last thing. Wait there. I'm going to my fridge. So for my last thing, I'm going to do some mozzarella. So for your mozzarella, you need to either empty it over a sink, but since I'm not near my sink and the camera's not on the sink, I'm going to empty it over a bowl. You want to pierce a hole in the top. Now you're thinking, ooh, mozzarella. Let me tell you this, 37p from Aldi makes a world of a difference in your spaghetti bolognese, spaghetti and meatballs. Tastes amazing. So what you want to do is this. You want to get your mozzarella, get yourself either a chopping board or a little plate, and at the point the pasta goes on, you want to slice it thinly. I hope you can see from on there what I'm doing. Brilliant, thanks Tina. Got my sidekick helping me out. So slice it up all the way through the whole pack, and then just take it and lay it. Let's get rid of the skin. Piece by piece over the top here. And just you watch. Mozzarella, if you don't know, is that stringy cheese that you get on top of pizzas. It's so tasty. But in a meal like this where it just melts and strings across the whole thing, oh, it's gorgeous. Really gorgeous. So this is kind of the best cooking. I just chuck all the dirt where the camera can't see and my kitchen still looks clean. It's lovely. So literally leave that to go. Leave that to go. Give it a little swirl with a fork. Make sure it's not glooping together. Fantastic. There you go. It's looking good. It's looking yummy. And here is your super quick and easy. I mean, basically we're done. We're just waiting for the pasta now. Super quick and easy. Meatballs with spaghetti. Spicing it up just that little bit. Like I said, I'd add some chili flakes if it was for Nick and myself and a few adults. My kids aren't fans, so we won't do that. You could add some mushrooms if you wanted to. The last thing I'm going to do is I've got my little pan here and my little tins of peas, and I'm just going to use a couple of tins of peas to have on the side because it's just nothing like peas with your meal. But I shall do that when my kids are actually back because I've no idea where they are. I think they've gone off with Nick somewhere. So nice and easy spaghetti and meatball. Oh, it does taste good, you know. It does taste good. If it weren't lockdown, I'd be inviting you around for a meal, but sadly we can't do that. And so again, in these moments, right now, these are the moments you commit your kids to the Lord. You commit your husband or your wife to the Lord. You commit your house to the Lord. Like, Lord Jesus, come and fill my house so much with your presence that no one will ever want to do anything wrong in this house because it's so full of you. A lot of people walk into my house and they say, oh, your house is so peaceful. It didn't happen by accident. My house is peaceful because very intentionally I have worship playing huge portion of the day. It isn't now because they wouldn't let me put the Facebook video on if I had music playing in the background. I have worship playing a huge amount of the time. I'm constantly praying and asking the Holy Spirit to fill it up, to wash it clean from anything that might not be of him. Soak your house in his presence. Soak your mind in his presence. Soak your heart in his presence. And the lovely thing is, as you're doing that, there's a verse that says that the peace that surpasses all understanding will have mercy on your heart and your mind. So what does that mean? It means that there's a peace that goes beyond your circumstances. It goes beyond what you can understand, and somehow you have it and you don't even know how. But that peace will be in your mind and in your heart whenever you ask him for it. Why? Because you've been getting your heart and your mind ready. So even if you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, nice about the spaghetti and meatballs, but I'm not a believer, not so sure about the rest. You know, if you don't even know God and you like the sound of his peace, you can ask him. He's a really kind God. He gives anyone his peace that asks for it. So I think, look at that. It's looking good, looking really lovely. I'm going to pause that there. Just want to show you this if I can.
Careful.
Starting to melt a little bit. I don't know if you can even see that properly on there. But they're starting to melt a little bit and it is looking gorgeous. The family are going to love this. I hope you try it. Post your comments underneath. Let me know if you try it. And I hope you enjoy it when you do. So God bless you all. Let me say a prayer for your households. Jesus, would you bless every household that ends up watching this, that they would have your peace, they would have your joy, and that you would give them such blessing in every area of their lives. I ask for health, I ask for protection, and I ask that they would know your love in Jesus' wonderful name. Amen. God bless you all. See you soon. Bye.